What's going on, everybody? I'm Cade Morehouse with Cage Side Press. Today, I'm joined by UFC bantamweight Cody Stamann. Cody, how's it going, man?
I'm good, brother. Just got stuck in traffic, so I just fucking pulled off, and here we are. Happy
Hey,
birthday,
thanks for
by the
your
way.
time today, man.
Yeah, no worries, no worries. Appreciate your time, fucking birthday boy. Doing
Yeah,
an interview,
thanks, man.
grinding.
I
That's what's up.
appreciate it. Yeah, man. Did you have a good Memorial weekend?
I did, man. I spent the weekend up at my cabin, just freaking fishing and just hanging out, man. It's way up in the mountains in Utah, so it's a cool little getaway from Vegas.
Is that your favorite thing to do? Is like hunting and fishing and stuff like that out in the country?
Yeah, I mean, besides beating people up, I think yeah, it is my favorite thing to do. I'm a country boy. Like the only reason I live in Las Vegas is because of fighting. If I didn't fight, I mean, I would probably live like off the fucking grid. Like I have no interest in like society and the ins and outs of daily life. Like it just it does nothing for me. You know what I mean? The fucking rat race of like having a nicer house than your neighbor. Like it never did shit for me. So fighting's just a means for me to escape this shit.
Yeah, man, I hear you, and I actually kind of agree with you, to be honest with you. Outside of my family, I really don't care. But
Yeah,
uh, but I got some questions for you. You've been in the game a long time. When did you
yeah.
start fighting?
Shit. When I was fucking old enough to walk, really. I've always been a pretty scrappy dude. I mean, I had a big mouth and big balls growing up. So I mean, I've been fighting my whole life. I feel like I can think of times like I'm always like we were just telling war stories around the fire, and like everyone was like, "Yeah, I got in a fight here, there, whatever." Dude, I could have gone on for fucking days of all the fights I've been in. It's just kind of how I've been. I was always like a short little fat kid. I had buck teeth growing up. People mess with me, and I wasn't about it. So I've been fighting forever. But I really started like MMA fighting when I was 19, I think. I was 19. I turned pro when I was like 21, 22. Like I got after it. Like I treated fighting like kind of like wrestling. Like I just wanted to fight and fight and fight. I fought like 20 times in 2 years as an amateur. So I mean, I fought a ton. And like I just fell in love with the sport. Like I had no like I didn't watch the UFC. I watched a little bit of WEC. But I really didn't have any dreams. Like when I first started, it was more just like a bucket list. Like I think I can kick these guys' ass, kind of thing. Not like, yeah, this is what I want to do for a career. And it just turned out that I was decent at it, and you know I felt like people had a little more respect for me, and I just kept at it, and now shit, 10 plus years later, it's like it's my whole life.
Yeah, man. I want to get into this fight a little bit, your last fight. And I'm
Yeah.
gonna start off a little bit different than the beginning of the fight. In the third round, when you had him hurt, was it just kind of uh like second nature to you to just kind of just jump on top of him and get the ground position, or did you feel like you could have finished him?
No, honestly, I trust me. I played this back so many times in my head, right? Because obviously I made a fucking mistake, right? That's first point blank. Like I fucked up. Like I should have kept going for the finish. But in reality, like he hit the ground dead, and when his head snapped back and he popped up, like he was back. Like I was hitting him, and I was hitting him with hard shots, and like he was effectively like trying to block and like move, like not like a guy, you know what I mean? Because normally when I hurt somebody, like I don't stop until it's over. But he he was really like there, you know what I mean? And like in that moment, I made the decision to like secure some top position, thinking that I could probably submit him. I thought he'd maybe flail around a little bit. I'd take his back, or I'd get a good position. I could pound him out or submit him because it's like I'm dropped him twice on his feet, and like Douglas is known to be a super durable guy. I watched a ton of film on the guy. I watched him get hurt a bunch of times, and come back and figure out a way to get it done. So I felt like I made the right decision. I felt like I'd banked around. I was obviously probably going to get a 10-8 round in that round. You know what I mean? I was dominating the round. I was like, in my head, it was a smart that move at the time. And looking back, I'm like, fuck, you know what I mean? Those decisions when the scorecards were read, I was like, I fucked up. I knew right away. But man, just having been in the fight and knowing what happened in all the exchanges and everything, like God couldn't convince me that I lost that fight. There's no fucking way. You know, the takedown in the first round, you know, that automatic that immediately gets stood up because he kicks me in the face on the ground. You know, I don't even get any time to secure top position, nothing. You know, in a round that I thought I probably lost, the second round, you know, I hit him with some really, really hard shots, like definitely the hardest shots in the round, you know, number one judging criteria, damage. You know, I hit him a couple times where he kind of stumbled around. Like the guy really, I mean, I took more damage in Brazil than I did in this last fight. Like Douglas really didn't hit me. I mean, I had a little nick on my nose that was from my own fingernail, but I didn't have a mark on my face, not anything. You know, my shin was a little banged up from getting kicked a couple times, but uh there's just there's no way that I play that fight back or watch that fight back and I'm like, yeah, I lost. You know, I mean, like that's one of those instances where like a guy's like busy, right? It's like an amateur boxing match. Like the busier guy wins, right? He was busier, but I was hitting him with harder shots, and like that was something I wanted to do. Like I wanted to go out and fucking beat up the striker, and you know I felt like I did that, and yeah, it's just fucking tough not getting the satisfaction I feel like I deserved in that one.
How did you have it scored going into that third round? Because the third round was no question yours.
1-1. I thought it was 1-1. I thought I lost the first round because I got stood up on that takedown with 2 minutes left, and then the second round I felt like I won just because I landed the bigger shots. You know, I had him moving backwards the whole fight. You know, he didn't do a whole lot in that second round. Like I remember him like backpedaling, throwing leg kicks, and like winging shots, but you know, I don't
Well,
remember taking any damage.
I kind of want to get into that first round, and I might have my dates mixed up, but I think it was a girl fight on the same card.
Yep,
Uh, it was the same
right
card.
before
Okay, so it was
the
like,
fight before.
yeah, the
It
fight
was the
right
fight
before
before
it.
it.
You're right,
Yeah.
and it's like they deem the shot unintentional, and then they take a point. How can you deem something unintentional and take a point? So I guess my question to you is, then it comes back to your fight, and it's either give them back position or take the point. I feel like that's always been kind of the rule, and I
I
don't
mean,
think
that is like cut and dry the rule. Like, believe me, I mean, because I'm going through the appeal process. I'm meeting with the North Carolina Athletic Commission tomorrow via like a WebEx. So we're gonna do a video call and we're gonna go over everything that I have in my appeal. And it is 100% a rule. It's cut and dry. There's no gray area in this rule. It's one or the other. You either warn the bottom opponent, right? Pending that I'm not injured, and he did smoke me in the jaw, but I'm not gonna say that to the ref. I'm not the kind of guy that's gonna like fucking play. I'm not gonna do Aljamain Sterling and want, you know what I mean? Wander around and act like I'm hurt. You know what I mean? I wanted to get back to work on top, like immediately. You know what I mean? I'm like, yeah, I'm fine. Let's go. And then he stands up and he's like, all right, fight. And I'm like, wait, what the fuck? You know what I mean? And like you could like physically see me protest, like this isn't right. Like I know the rules as an athlete. Like it's my fucking job to know the rules. How do you not know that? You know? Um, and like I really do think I lost my focus in that round. You know what I mean? I knew it when I went back to my corner in between rounds. Like I didn't sit down on the stool. Like I knew it. I was like, I lost that round. I know. You know what I mean? Like I got to fucking pick it up. Like I know because I was just like in my head for that last minute 30 of the round, just like more or less pissed off at the ref. You know, not really focused on what I had to do. But I mean, at this stage in the game, all I can do, is just plead my case to the North Carolina Athletic Commission and just be like, hey guys, like it's your job to enforce these rules, right? And like I know it's hard for you to admit that one of your guys made a mistake, but the rule is simple. You know what I mean? It's one or the other. You can't reward someone on bottom for getting taken down and then doing something illegal by standing them up. You know what I mean? Like they really screwed me out of a lot of money and you know what I mean, a big opportunity to move up. And I just want them to make it right. I want them to do their job and I want them to enforce the rules. I'm not asking for, you know what I mean, anything. I'm not feeling entitled to anything. I'm not like, hey, fucking, you know, change the judges' scorecards or anything. I'm like, listen, this is a wash. You know what I mean? You guys messed up. It caused chaos in the fight. It's a no contest or it's a draw. You know what I mean? Or because the dude stood me up, it should be a point taken away, making it a draw. Like that's best case. You know, next best case is you know, a no contest. But I literally cannot fathom that that's a fucking loss on my record. You know, and there's a few other
Well,
fights like that I've had.
You feel like you won the fight 3-0 if they gave you back your position.
Yeah, I mean, if they give me back my position, you know what I mean, and I do what I know, like I was training to do, you know what I mean, get takedowns late in rounds, grind the dude out, wear him out, make him tired. I mean, it was going exactly as planned. You know what I mean? Like I wanted to go out there, I wanted to see all his big shots. He threw them all in the first round. You know what I mean? I had his timing, I had his rhythm, I knew what he was doing. You know what I mean? It was my second shot of the fight. I got to a single leg, lifted him, got to a good position, was getting to side control. You know what I mean? And then fucking the dude kicks me and he gets stood up. It's absolute BS. You know, because like chain wrestling and top control, like that's my game. You know what I mean? Like that's how I win fights. That's how I'm, you know, having this conversation with you. You know, so and I mean, not only that, but like some shit like that happens, like it discourages you from like wanting to shoot again. You know what I mean? Like why would I fucking expend all that energy when this ref is just gonna fucking stand me up if homeboy does something illegal? You know?
Did Dana or the promotion say anything to you about it?
You know, I will say that you know a few of the high up guys in the UFC came up to me and you know was like, were like, listen, that was a tough. I'm not gonna say any names just because I don't want to get him in trouble, but you know they were like, dude, that was BS. That was absolute BS from the ref's call to the judge's decision. Like, you know, everyone sitting cage side felt like you won that fight. And we're sorry, you know, like, what do you want to do next? Kind of, you know, are you thinking that you want to go to 45? You want 35? And, you know, like, I'm not a guy that makes moves off a loss. You know what I mean? So I was going to go to 45 and fight a couple times and see how it worked out. And now I feel like I'll just take whatever I can get. You know what I mean? I'll fight at 35. I'll fight at 45. I don't give a shit. I just want to fight. You know what I mean? Like, I want to fight by the end of the summer. Like if they called me tonight and they're like, "Hey, you want to fight in fucking 6 weeks or 8 weeks?" Like, I'd be like, "Run it, let's fucking do it," because I just got a nasty taste in my mouth from this whole fucking deal, you know. And I want to get back after it.
As a veteran of the sport, how do you think the UFC, not just the UFC, but all the promotions, what do you think's the step into fixing this? Because a lot of fighters feel, and people, fans, everyone feels that the judges aren't scoring fights correctly. They're not scoring it off the rules. They're scoring it off whatever they see, of course. And then, refs aren't getting certain things right, in fights and stuff like that. What do you think that the fix is? I mean, there's so many athletic commissions and so many people involved, but, do you have, like, as a veteran of the sport, do you have something that can potentially fix this?
Well, I mean, I think there's two things that make anyone better at their job, right? It's time and education, right? So if I want to get better at boxing or I want to get better at jiu-jitsu, I want to get better at anything, like I need to work with someone that's better than me. You know what I mean? I need to spend time and I need to get educated in that aspect. And the problem is we have these small athletic commissions like North Carolina, like Newark, like all these places that, you know, you see all these super bad decisions, bad refs, people that obviously don't understand, you know, people that have only done region. It's like an NFL football
Places the
referee.
sport hasn't been often.
Exactly. So it's like an NFL football referee jumping in to do a fucking or a high school referee doing an NFL game. Like that game is happening so much faster. He has to be able to make those decisions so fast, you know what I mean? And you look at the judges and the referees that don't do it a lot, they're consistently getting it wrong. You know what I mean? And it's just because they haven't spent the time. You know what I mean? They're making like life-changing decisions in my life and other athletes' lives. You know what I mean? When this is something that they do like 3-4 times a year. I mean, can you imagine being good at anything that you do 3-4 times a year? You know, I don't think it's really necessarily, I'm not like picking on any certain person, but like as a whole, don't you think there should be like 150 mandatory hours for all judges and all referees? Like they should have to, there should be some kind of education, because like this isn't a fucking small sport anymore. This is a huge sport. You know, I think the UFC could do a little bit more to push these athletic commissions to get more education or offer more programs. You know what I mean? So that this shit isn't happening as often. Um, and then it's also on the athletic commissions, because I feel like these guys are doing the bare minimum. You know what I mean? They're really doing the bare minimum, and they don't understand that like their job is very important to the athletes and to the sport. Because if MMA keeps going down this path where there's a ton of bad calls every week, people are betting serious amounts of money on the fights. You know, if this keeps happening, like it's gonna dampen the growth of the sport. So I really think this is like something that the people who have money invested in the sport really need to like, they really need to nip this in the ass before it like comes back to get them. Because like, what killed boxing? You know what I mean? Everybody fucking loves boxing. Everybody loves watching boxing. What killed boxing is bad decisions, right? It was too much money. It was too much influence that killed boxing. You know what I mean? You watch a boxing match, you're like, you know for a fact this guy won, the other guy gets the decision, and you're like, how the fuck does that happen? And now that shit's happened in MMA, and like, and if we're not careful, like, you know, MMA is gonna be irrelevant here soon.
Yeah, I definitely see your point. I know you're busy. I'm gonna fire off a couple more questions and then we'll get you out of here. What's your favorite post-fight meal?
Post fight meal, dude. I'm a steak guy. I'm eating a fucking big fat ass ribeye. Like that's it, and then probably some ice cream.
I think I know the answer, but what's your favorite post-fight drink?
uh, you know, I'm not a big drinker, but you know, if I'm gonna go party, I'm drinking vodka and fucking Red Bull. I'm getting fucking turned
Oh,
up.
this
But
guy wants to get lit.
if I'm chilling, I'll probably just drink whiskey.
Nice, nice. Who's your favorite sparring partner that just gives you a hard time every time and just pushes you to your limits?
Uh, damn, there's a lot. I spar a lot with my boy Chad Decker. He's an up and coming pro. I think he's probably the next guy that, you know, is from the area that I'm from that shows up in the UFC.
What's your favorite strike standing up?
A left hook,
Favorite submission?
fuck. All the submissions there for pussies, but probably a rear naked choke.